Hello, this is a really quick recap on how to calculate Spearman's rank correlation coefficient. Okay, so that Spearman's rank looks at how correlated the ranks are. So is the first one of one category, the first one of another category, is the second one of the first one category, the second one of the other, and so on. So it's looking at the ranks and how correlated the ranks are. Okay, so normally you're given a couple of columns, they're not normally necessarily labelled, and then you're always given these extra columns which you need to use for the D and D squared. So to start off with, you've got your two scores, a math score and a science score, and we're just going to rank them in order. So obviously the highest score is the higher rank, so we're looking at the maths ones first, so that would be number 1, and then number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so this is the ranked scores for the maths. For the science, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so that's the ranked scores for the science. So these are the ranking order. Okay, so this is the first maths one, and it's also the first science one. So we're now going to look at D, and D is the difference between these two numbers. Okay, so we can almost forget these two columns now. Okay, because what we're interested in is now the ranks. Okay, we're not interested in the marks, we're just interested in the ranks. So the difference between them, so 1 take away 1, 0. 6 take away 4 is 2. 8 take away 8 is 0. 4 take away 5, negative 1. Doesn't matter if it goes into negatives. At this stage, it doesn't matter. So all I'm doing is subtracting the second column from the first column. Okay, so now I've ended up, I can see these are fairly low. So that tells me a little bit about what the correlation is going to look like. But because we've got these negatives, we want to get rid of them. So what we do is we square. So 0 squared, 2 squared, 0 squared, negative 1 squared, 0 squared, 1 squared, negative 1 squared, and negative 1 squared. Okay, we've pretty much got everything we need. Okay, now we just need the sum. Remember, that needs sum of this end total here. So we're going to add it up. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now we're going to plug all this into our formula. So the formula is either given to you as this in the exam paper, or sometimes I prefer to use the expanded bracket form because I'm less likely to forget to include everything. Okay, they're both equally as good, they're both exactly the same. Common problem though is to forget to subtract from 1 once you've worked it all out. So we're just going to put the numbers that we need into the formula. So we've got 6 times sum of d squared, which is 8, divided by, now n is the number of pieces, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in this case, we've got 8 cubed minus 8, or 8 times 8 squared minus 1. So if I simplify that, okay, so now I'm going to do 1 take away this. Don't forget to take it away from 1. So you plug it into your calculator, and you should end up with 0.904761, or 0.9 to 1 decimal place. Okay, I'll just move that up so you can see it. So I should put that in there. Okay, so as I say, that's the bit that's always forgotten to take away from 1. So you do 1, take away what you've worked out, 0.9. That tells us that it's very strong. And it tells us that it's a positive. Okay, now that's fairly visible from the different scores here. Okay, these differences are quite low. And so it means that if the differences are quite low, then the difference in ranks must be fairly low as well, which means they're both similar ranks. If there was any big scores in here, then we would know there was a bigger difference between the two ranks, and so therefore our Spearman's rank value at the bottom would be nearer to 0. So because this is quite near to 1, we know it's very strong, we know it's positive because it's not a negative number, and so therefore you would say that the correlation between the maths and science scores is positive. It's a very strong positive. Okay, thanks for watching.